Well, over the last 3 years, we have been saying to all farmers that if you continue the traditional method of agriculture, we're going to be left behind because the developed world is using ICT and we should not be left behind. In that context, we sought help to develop the use of ICT and long life learning in agriculture. And we contacted, through Dr. Bala on my left here, the Commonwealth of Learning in Vancouver. And he has been helped in many years in that development. And he's here with me this evening. It's his second trip in about 12 months, 9 months, to help us to develop that ICT and long life learning in agriculture.
Second trip in 12 months. Dr. Bala, what have you found peculiar to the region, the Caribbean region, or specifically to Jamaica, that you believe ICT integration will help our farmers with?
Well, Jamaica is unique in certain aspects. If you take the mobile phone density, Jamaica is one of the highest in the world. And we believe that mobile phone is not just a talking tool, it's not just an entertainment tool, but it is also a learning tool. And people talk about M-learning all over the world. And M-learning can play a major role in the farming sector. The agriculture extension can use M-learning in a bigger way. And we have shown it in Asia, in India, Sri Lanka, and we are showing it in Kenya and Uganda. Whereas Jamaica, which has a very high level of distribution of mobile phones, can use this technology and help to pass on information and knowledge across the farming community.
I want to ask a question, because truth is, the more efficient we get, sometimes we divorce ourselves from the original traits which make us unique. Is this going to lead to perhaps more chemicals, etc., being infused into our products that are going to compromise what Jamaica has as authentic agricultural and farming production?
Absolutely no, because the intention here is really to develop farmers to a point where they can actually further their human capacity to manage financial transaction using M-Mobile, the telephone, help them to build a capacity. It has nothing to do with if we're going to use more chemical. In fact, they would have had more knowledge about organic farming versus using chemicals and so on.
Okay, so it will help with networking, for example. So let's look at networking across parishes, how we do things in the eastern parishes and how they could assist the western, etc. Are you going to find that this will improve the image of farming for the younger folk coming up who perhaps, given our colonial history, tend to frown on agriculture and farming as a side entrepreneurial activity instead of a main one?
If you look at what is happening now, once we have that technology and we can use ICT, whether it's the phone, whether it's the computer, we actually are in the world of young people's activities because they like computers, they like telephone. So what we're saying that the telephone, the computers can also be used in agriculture and it's easier to attract them.
Right.
But there are interesting other aspects for people who are in farming. For example, persons who can't read. Because, for example, we send our text messages service to farmers, and some can read and some can't. And Dr. Bala, you care to say what we're doing for those who can't read?
Yes. You asked a very pertinent question. Thousands of years, agriculture has always developed through what you call horizontal transfer of knowledge, farmer to farmer. But in the earlier days, the farming community used to be small, so it's a face-to-face interaction. Now, with the mobile phone and with the computers and other ICT, you enhance the canvas of the farming community. So from one parish, they can say, okay, with this happened, and you require a good agriculture practice. There is something called Codex Alimentarius without which you cannot export. So many things they can share. And the extension system can facilitate that horizontal transfer of knowledge.
Okay. What about cross-sectorally? Because right now, the agricultural industry and the tourism sector, both sectors are really we're seeing partnerships and linkages, the farm-to-table concept. How will increased ICT usage help that kind of a partnership?
Yes, I think the extensions, the studies on extension all over the world have shown the farmers, the major problem for farmers are the information in time and space. They don't know what kind of a tourism thing is taking place, whether the cruise ship is coming and who is coming, what kind of taste, what kind of preferences are there.
Right.
And once once you're aware that, suppose if there are people who are coming from Europe and people, if you're exporting products to Europe, you require things like GAP, Good Agriculture Practice certificates. Now, many farmers would not know about this. Now, through this system, you can give information and knowledge and enable them also to share the information and knowledge, find out what is happening to the tourism industry and what will its implication in my tomato cultivation and production. So many things can be worked out.
Okay, and I'm seeing where perhaps even in relation to not just the tourism industry, but even the educational industry, where perhaps they have a specialized type of need for vegetables as opposed to the specs required by the tourism industry. How is this partnership going to improve the image of RADA and specifically the relationship with the Jamaican farmers?
Well, I'm excited about what I forecast as improvement in the image, because what you're actually doing, you're raising the prestige, you're raising the bar, you're getting people more self-directed, they're working out things for themselves, and you're part of a new dimension that is saying to other persons, I want to be a part of it too. A farmer in St. James would be able to say what's happening to you in Clarendon and share that information. Pests is all about the place. And particularly I wanted to make the point about the audiovisual, where we have farmers who when we send SMS messages, they'll read it. A percentage not at that level of development. And what we're doing now is sending messages that they hear it, they listen, and so on. So even if they can't read,
they can hear.
They can hear. This is a new technology, and I must say it was a real challenge even to get the Digicel and the Lime to buy into that. They said, when we approached them, when we approached, for example, Lime, they said this was the first time they were doing something like that. They were not even sure about how to cost it. But the barrier was broken, and we're on to something very good now.
All right, good. And the last question to you, Dr. Barlow, what is in one word going to be coming to the Jamaican farmers as a result of ICT?
The farmers will be the developers of the Jamaican economy.
Developers of the Jamaican economy. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are now upon a break. After the break, though, help us settle the score now. Are fathers treated unfairly in comparison to mothers within the Jamaican society?